Good morning, everyone. This is Dewey, and my Tech Talk topic for today is streaming and cord cutting update. In my Tech Talk number 11 on streaming and cord cutting in early December, I defined TV streaming as using the internet to provide both live and pre recorded TV, thus allowing users to watch what they want to watch and whenever they want to watch it. Cord cutting was defined as canceling a cable or satellite subscription and instead using the internet to provide your TV watching experience. In today's streaming and cord cutting update, I'll bring you up to date on some recent news in this fast growing segment of technology. If you have any questions on streaming or cord cutting or have information you'd like to share, please feel free to leave it in our Zoom chat or send me an email at deweykloos@gmail.com. Protocol.com recently reported that the 5 largest pay TV providers, which includes names like DirecTV, Dish Network, Comcast, and so forth, lost a combined total of 5.5 million subscribers in 2020. Astonishing. Comcast in particular lost 227,000 subscribers just during the fourth quarter of 2020 compared to 133,000 during the same quarter a year before. Cord cutters may wonder how much internet speed they really need for streaming. In a CNET article this past week, Kristen Bolden writes, "Your goal is to pay for what your usage needs require." So, what's the definition of require? With smartphone home gadgets growing in prevalence and media consumption increasingly driven by streaming, in my opinion, it makes sense to opt for something closer to at least 100 megabit service if available to you. Often, the cost of 100 megabit service will be in the $50 per month range. Point. A dual band router allows you the option to connect your streaming TVs via the 5 gigahertz frequency. Though 5 gigahertz has less coverage range than 2.4, 5 gigahertz is faster and has less chance of interference from other devices. If you have a streaming TV that's too far from your router to use the faster 5 gigahertz speed, and I have that situation, perhaps it's time to explore a mesh system router to solve the problem. In my opinion, it's best to have all of your streaming TVs set to the same router speed, especially if they're using the same streaming system, Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, so forth. This allows the streaming system's smartphone app to provide private listening and other controls to all TVs. I have the Roku smartphone app, and I just love it. It's terrific. Another reason to have the highest possible internet speed for streaming is that it helps streaming TV channels load faster. Regarding the more demanding 4K high definition HDR TV, super high definition, 100 megabit service is easily fast enough to still have bandwidth left over to handle a number of internet connected devices at the same time. Moving on, I came across another story titled, "Google TV will include a new basic mode to make your smart TV dumb." Sounds interesting. TheVerge.com reports that Google TV, Google's latest attempt at TV software, will include a new basic TV mode that strips out a TV's smart features in favor of providing simple access to live TV and HDMI inputs. It's a potential boon to anyone who's ever wanted to dumb down their smart TV because they prefer to use an external streaming device, Roku, Fire TV, and so forth, because they value privacy. Google TV debuted the new Chromecast in 2020. Remember, Ron told us about this, offering a new interface built on Google's existing Android TV software. It will soon be offered as built-in software for TCL and Sony's upcoming new TVs. Owners can select the basic TV mode at setup, and doing so strips out the operating system's apps, content recommendations, that's a blessing, and Google Assistant support. It's possible to revert back to the standard interface at any time, but selecting the basic mode can only be done at the initial startup. Got to remember that. There are plenty of reasons that people might want to remove all the smarts from a smart TV. Many users rely on Amazon streaming devices from Apple, Roku, or Amazon for their streaming content and feel that a duplicate interface built into their TV just gets into the way. Cord Cutters Weekly reported that their followers named Pluto TV as the best free streaming service of 2020. Pluto TV is up and coming, by the way, and announced in early December that it was adding 5 new channels. And Tubi, which streams free movies and TV, will add nearly 80 local news station feeds to their lineup. It's the first time they're offering news. Apple TV owners owning the older Apple TV 3rd Gen are seeing this message pop up on their screens. Starting early March, the YouTube TV app will no longer be available on Apple TV 3rd Gen. Apple TV owners can still watch YouTube on Apple TV 4K, Apple TV HD, iPhone, or iPad with AirPlay. They can also stream YouTube from their iOS devices directly to any Apple TV. That would be 3rd generation or later, of course. By the way, the Apple TV Plus app is now available on Chromecast with Google TV's streaming device. It will also arrive on other Google's devices, including new TVs by Sony and TCL and other devices yet to be revealed. And yes, you can use the Google Assistant to access Apple content with your voice if you so desire. Roku's free Roku channel is adding 13 new channels to its free lineup of over 165 channels. And Disney Plus capped off 2020 by reaching an astonishing 95 million subscribers worldwide. The popular Ookla app, speedtest.net, I think most of you are familiar with it, has been updated to help users gauge the video quality of their internet connection as well. Google's YouTube TV will be offering a new add-on package with 4K streaming, offline viewing, and unlimited number of concurrent streams at the same time at your home location. We'll also be adding an Entertainment Plus add-on, which will include HBO Max, Showtime, and Stars for an additional payment of $30 per month, a saving, wow, of $5 per month. YouTube TV kicked off 4 years ago this weekend and now has more than 3 million U.S. subscribers, 85 plus networks, and offers unlimited TV. And I've been there since a couple of months after it kicked off. Many TFSers out there will be sad to learn that Fry's Electronics is ceasing operations as of February 24th and closing all of its more than 24 stores that are found mainly in the Southwest from Texas to California. Well, that's my Tech Talk story for today, and I'm sticking with it. So take care, thanks for watching, stay safe, and have a great day.
Tech for Seniors. Today I'd like to talk about creating an email signature. Now you remember the routine. If you like this video, please click the like, and if you want to support the channel, please subscribe. Now let's get on with the video. There are 3 goals of this presentation. The first is, should you have a signature? The second is how to make a signature. And the third, I want to show you a free program that will do it all for you. So for many years in my Gmail course, I've taught how to create a digital signature in Gmail. And in order to create a digital signature, you have to put personal information into the email. Now, for half of the students that I've taught, they don't want to put personal information into their signature. The other half do. So it is a personal decision you have to make when you're sending out your email, how much personal information you want to put into your signature block. But let's take a look at some examples that I have of some signature blocks you'll recognize. Well, guess whose signature block this is? This is mine. You'll see that I have some personal information here. I am a busy person. I spend a lot of time connecting with people, and I hope they connect back with me. So I want to give them lots of personal information to contact me. So this is a pretty liberal signature block I have, and it even has a little bit of advertising in it. Now let's look at another very busy person as well. It happens to be Bob G. Yes, he is a very busy person. He does a lot of security talks across the country, and in booking and receiving information, he needs to make sure you know what information you have available to contact him. So this is his signature block. Now let's look at another very busy person who I know quite well. Guess who this is? Well, his signature block is 2 words, Hewie Poplock. So maybe Hewie has decided that he doesn't want to share personal information with you. Not sure, maybe we can ask him that in the question and answer part. And the third is a very colorful person who does a lot of work on this show, Dewey. And I put this signature block in because Dewey has 1 word in his signature, but it's a written word. We'll talk a little bit about this later. Okay, let me show you how to make a signature block in Gmail. All right, let's see how to make a signature in Gmail. Here we are in my Gmail program. We're going to come up to the top right and see this little gear icon here. This is your settings icon. Let's click this, and this will bring up the first menu, but we want to go to see all settings. So we're now going to click this, and it's loading all our settings, and you'll see that we now are in the general settings of Gmail. I want you to scroll down as you keep coming down, and now you'll see that this is where you can add signature. This is the area here, and you will be going over the signatures I have in a minute, but this is where you create a new signature. You can click this and you can create a new signature. I'll be going over this in the next few slides with you, but this is the area you go to create a signature block in Gmail. Now, it will be a little bit different in Outlook and all the other email programs you have, but there will be a signature block feature in all email programs. All right, now I can tell you that to create a professional signature block, one that looks very good, is actually pretty difficult. And you're going to have to spend a lot of time trying to move information around and formatting your picture so you get it exactly as you want. And after many years of teaching this, it's just not as easy as you might think. It does require an HTML template. Now, what the heck is an HTML template? Well, this is where you actually put the computer code into that signature block rather than just putting information in that's generic to the email program that you're using. Now, there are many paid services to do this for you. They often want an upfront cost or a monthly subscription fee. Yes, there is not a lot of free stuff out there on the internet. Now, also, it must look good on all devices. It must look good on the laptop. It must be good on the desktop, and certainly good on the web. So it's got to look good in all the devices that are going to be looking at this. So how to do this? Let me show you how to do it. Now, the demonstration today is going to be on a free software program called Signature Hound. I discovered this last week, and it's pretty darn cool. And you go there by www.signaturehound.com. And when you get there, I want you to sign in or create an account. It's free. Hey, this is free. It's pretty good, too. Watch how we do this. Well, it always hasn't been free. There was, the story goes back to Madison Giles. He's the founder and I suppose the sole proprietor of Signature Hound. He wrote this program, and there was a monthly subscription fee and an upfront fee to use it. However, Madison is now a firefighter. He left the computing business and is now a firefighter in Canberra. So he decided to make this site free. Yes, it is free. So when you sign up, there is no charge, and you can use this for free. All right, we have now logged into our Signature Hound site. The setup and login is pretty easy. On the screen ahead of me, you'll see I have an existing signature block called Santa Claus. If you want to create a new signature block, you just click the plus button here and you'll create a new signature. But for speed today, I've already entered a bunch of data. So let's click on our Santa Claus signature. Now, what I'd like you to do is I want you to go over on the left side. This is super easy to use, but what I want you to do is I want you to go over and there's two parts here. You'll want to enter your personal info and your business info. We'll get to the design in a minute. So let's go to our personal info here. What we've done is I've added a picture, so you can add your picture that you want for your website or for your signature block. You can set the profile width. We've got a name, we've got the job title, we've got a department, email address, and you can put a bunch of phone numbers. And again, there really is no limit to this. So this is what I want you to put in first of all. If you have any further information you want, we can click the business info here. I've added another logo, so you can have two logos. We'll call it Kloos Incorporated. And I've also added a website that we have. And here is, again, this is so difficult to do if you're trying to do it on your own. You'll look at all our social media links here. Now you can delete these links just by clicking the X, and you can take whatever you want. This was the Skype one at the end here. You can simply, by clicking this, you can either add it or remove it. However, so you can, if you don't have social media, but if you wanted to include your Facebook site, you could certainly add it, and then it would appear in these links. All right. Now, so once you get all your data put in that you want, your personal information and any further data that you want for business, then you can click the design. All right. And here comes up, and you can then come down here, and I'm not going to go through all these toggles, but you can certainly edit this as well through clicking these toggles, and you can change the font size, etc. And I'll let you play with this. But the big thing is to come up to the top now to templates. And here's where the beauty of this software is. This is the default template we have here, but I can change the template as we come along. You'll see the different types of templates that we can use. And all you have to do is click whichever one you like, and it will make the signature block for you. So you have your choice of, I think there's 8 different templates that you can use. Now, once you decide on, and again, you don't have to re-enter any personal information. It will adjust all this for you and format it for whatever email program you're using. Okay, so now we've decided this is the template we like. This is how it's going to look. We come up to the top right-hand corner here, and it says Install Signature. So we're going to click this, and now we're brought to the next menu where we have all the different email programs that you probably have. Now we use, and what we're going to be creating is a signature in the Gmail web software. So we're going to click this button, and it is going to we're simply going to copy the signature. I'm going to click this button here, and if you look down at the bottom, it says your signature has been copied to the clipboard. One of the things that you need to watch is when you click this copy, if you get a message up top here that says you are over the number of characters you've used too many characters or your pictures are too big, and it won't let you copy and paste it into your Gmail program. So watch that. So if you're hitting the copy button here and it's not working, there will be a message at the top here and you've got too much information for the signature block. All right, now we're going to come over, and this is your Gmail software, and this is the signature block. I've made a bunch of signatures here, but we're going to create a new one. We're going to call it Santa 2. We're going to create this, and I'm simply going to right click and I'm going to paste this. All right, and this is going to paste it in, and this will have our information that we want. And I'll come down now and we'll save changes, and we will have our Santa 2 signature block. So now when we come to compose a new email, we can come down to the right side here. We'll insert a signature. We will have Santa 2, and there is our information that we've just made. And this is how you can easily make a signature block. You'll see down at the bottom here with our signatures, we can choose any of these signatures that we want. I can choose, this is one that I just made for Tech for Seniors, and it's again all formatted for you that will work well in this signature block. Well, that's how you create a signature block in Gmail with Signature Hound.
Dewey Poplock. Today we're going to talk about my computer history. It may be a trip down memory lane for you, and it also may be a history lesson if you're not familiar with what I'm going to be talking about. My first computer was a Commodore PET, 8K of memory, no floppy disks, no hard disks. It just had a tape drive for storage. In order to do anything on the screen, you had to type in a basic program. Just to say hello or goodbye is what this would look like. I watched a 9-year-old kid play with one of these in the Olson Electronics store, and I said if he could do it, I could, because he was typing things in and things were happening on the screen. My second computer was a Radio Shack TRS-80. I opted for the level 2 with 16K of RAM. It was an expansion box for $849. Floppy disk drives were $500 a piece, so I did not get one of those. I used the tape drive again to use for storage and holding the programs. This is what it looked like, minus the expansion box. I also purchased one of the first dot matrix printers for under $1,000. I bought an Oki Data Microline 80 for $999. My third computer was an Osborne, $1,800. It came with 2 floppy disks. It had a 5-inch screen. It weighed 28 pounds, and it had software packaged with it, which was something totally new. And here's what the Osborne looked like open, and here's the screen at a glance, what it looked like. Here's what the screen looked like, 183 characters across. I also purchased a 300 baud modem. That's what it looked. You could put a notch on the other side and actually turn the disk over and write on the back end if it had a double-sided Mylar disk within the 5 1/4. At the same time, my IBM had the IBM 360 mainframes in big rooms, air-conditioned, all the wiring underneath a raised floor. The workstations were dumb terminals connected to the mainframe either by direct wiring, or if it was in a different building, a different city, you might rent telephone time to connect to the mainframe during certain periods. Apple came out with an Apple II, followed by the Lisa down on the bottom, and to the right was the first of the Macintosh family. Then came the IBM PC. I didn't buy an IBM PC. I opted to buy a clone from AT&T, and it was called a PC 6300. It did not have a hard drive in it. It had 1 floppy drive. I later bought a hard drive, a 40 megabyte hard drive. 40 megabytes, Holy cow, I am never going to have to buy another floppy disk and I'll never fill it up. The software, and back in those days, there was a program called Symphony, which was a little bit of everything from the Lotus. The same people that had Lotus 123, a spreadsheet. Symphony had a spreadsheet and a word processor. It was a combination, it was like an office program. But programs in those days, like the computers, were expensive. Here is some computer pricing back in those days: an IBM PC with a 20 megabyte hard drive, monochrome monitor at $1,800, up to, if you wanted 40 megabytes of hard drive and you wanted a color monitor, you were able to get it at $3,695. But the software was extremely expensive too. Remember I mentioned Lotus 123, a spreadsheet, $399. DBase 2, almost $500. WordStar, $269. But WordStar didn't come with a spell checker. That was another $150. And if you wanted to use a mail merge, that was another $150. And if you wanted to do some indexing, if you were creating big documents and you needed indexing, another $150. So that software became very, very expensive. Moving ahead to 1987, even then, Symphony was still over $450. 123 was over $300. WordStar was $250. Programs were still expensive even in the late 80s. Just to look very quickly, different DOS versions. Remember, DOS was in the first IBM PCs and the first PC clones. However, it didn't become popular until the first computers, the XTs, came out in about 1983. And that was PC DOS 2. And we ran DOS until about 1995 with PC DOS and MS DOS 6.2 and PC DOS 7.0. Then we went to Windows. 1985, Windows 1, on to the current Windows in 2015. It's been around for 6 years now. Here's the Windows version history, starting in 1985 and how it moved from Windows 1, 2, 3, NT, Windows for Workgroups, Windows 3.2, Windows 98, Windows 2000, Windows ME, XP, XP Professional, Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, 8.1, and then Windows 10. The Apple operating systems were first introduced in 1978, and they have progressed, and they still continue to update their operating systems. iOS for the iPad and iPhones have been around since 2010, and they haven't had a lot of versions, but when they do, they are major version updates. Androids, the first Androids were about 2008, 2009, and as they have progressed, they were first given names of desserts back in 2019. They decided to go just with the numbering, and so there's Android 10 and 11, and 12 will be coming soon. The Chrome OS was based on the Chrome browser, which came out in 2008, and as the browser has increased, the same version numbers are what are coming out with the Chrome OS. The most current is version 88. 89 is in beta, 90 and 91 are in very early stages of testing. Linux, there are tons of Linux distributions, or called distros. Just to show you, here's a huge list of all of the ones that are available. I'm not going to even go into all the different ones or what they are. It's just there's a lot of Linux operating systems available, and those are mostly free. Going back in time again, this is an article from 1984. Several hardware peripherals for the Macintosh were introduced. A 5 megabyte Omni drive priced at $1,700, $1,800. An 11 megabyte drive is priced at $2,500. And a 16 megabyte version will sell at $3,200. And a 45 megabyte for $5,000. That was in 1984. Another problem in those early days was the fact that if you owned one kind of computer and even if you had the same software, you couldn't read the disks from other brands and other operating systems. And what happened was a company by the name from Micro Solutions called Uniform allowed the CP/M and DOS machines to actually work on each other's files. What you did is you put the Uniform in the disk and you ran the program and it said, okay, what do you want to make that floppy look like? And you chose which one you wanted. And then what it did is it faked out the IBM PC and said, okay, what you have is a Kpro or you have an Osborne, and we're going to be able to read that data and then copy it over to the PC, and then you can stop using that software, and then we'll be able to read the file. Not only couldn't they read the files, they couldn't read the disks. And also back in those days, to download anything, it was slower. Remember, we talked about a 300 baud modem, 1962. If you wanted a 300 baud modem, it would take, and you wanted to download a 1 GB file, it would take 323 plus days. In 1976, we were up to 1200 baud modems, and it would take 80 days for that same 1 GB file. And if you look down today, if you have 20 megabits per second internet broadband, you're doing it in 7 minutes. And if you have 200 megabits per second, you're doing it in 42 seconds. Things certainly have improved. Thank you for joining. I hope you learned a little bit about my computer history and computer history in general.